Oh, it said that they were coming in another email, but I did just get it, so it's good. I just got the email literally within the last like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
That has the list of questions.
Hey, do you want to go live on social? You want to just do a podcast and record it? It's your call. YouTube and Instagram, or do we care?
No, I go live on social. Yeah,
All
might
right,
as well.
cool. Right on.
I mean, the content's good for me. It's good for you, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
All right.
I'm kind of casual, but
You look
hopefully it
great,
works.
dude. Sitting in the
Okay.
car, I love it.
All right. Sitting in my F-250 pickup truck, been running around all morning.
All right, you ready?
Hold on, I need to text my wife. Uh, okay, sorry, I'm sitting outside one of my wife's med spas. She's got a charity event today. She needs some things moved around too, and I'm the labor with the
All right.
pickup truck. So,
It's all good, bro.
but we're good. We're good. Go ahead.
Okay, cool. All right, ready? Here we go. Three, two, one. Welcome to Design Auto Live. I'm your host, Chris Barta. My guest today is the legendary Danny Baker from Marshall Goldman. He's got his own shop as well. He also has a crazy car collection. He's also a crazy car driver. So we're excited he's here. Danny, thanks for joining me, my man.
Chris, that is a great introduction. I hope you use Chat GPT to like come up with all that fake stuff
Actually,
that isn't real and
I
made
used
up.
I used my brain on that one. Actually, it's still a small it's still a small thing, but it's still around. But Danny, dude, I love what Marshall Goldman's doing. I've always liked your career. It's been really fun to watch. You're one of the few guys that's actually most of the people in the car business fell into the car business because they couldn't find a job. You are actually a car guy.
Yeah,
What's your
fortunately.
backstory, man?
Yeah, fortunately or unfortunately, it's what I wanted to do as a kid. I'm in the business because I want to be, not because every other industry fired me first, which is how a lot of other guys fall into it, unfortunately. But yeah, I mean, good times and bad times in the car business. It's been very good to me. Um, just what I always wanted to do. Started selling cars at 14, small town, Chevy dealership, after school, on the nights and weekends, high school, all that. Got my dealer's license at 18 and then went to college at Mizzou in Columbia, Missouri, and ended up working at the Mercedes store there. During college, just honestly because I wanted to. It was a lot of fun. I learned a lot. Scheduled classes at night in the business school and work during the day. And it was crazy. It was not by design. I don't think many people would go back and say, "Hey, this is the path I want to take," but it's the path I took, and it was good. Worked with Lamborghini out of college for several years. Kind of recruited by a dealer group. They moved me around a bit. Three different Lamborghini stores in about 5 years, and then started my own business. It's called Exotic Motors Midwest. Just big independent in St. Louis, Missouri. I mean, we started small. In an airplane hangar like a lot of others, and then grew to a retail facility of about 10,000 square feet. And we were there on Manchester Road in St. Louis for about 5, 6 years. Then we moved into a little bit bigger facility for another 5 or 6 years. So I've had Exotic Motors, the dealer's license, since I've been 18. I'm
Wow.
41 here in a few weeks. So had the license. And then in 2018, basically was targeted by Marshall Goldman and the private equity group that was behind them at the time, and basically just a lot of love for Harlan and Marshall Goldman. They're just phenomenal people that have been super super good to me. So basically, I knew they were going through their buy sell because Harlan told me. And he said, "Hey, as soon as we close this thing, I'm going to call you and see if you have some interest in joining us." And one thing led to another, and that happened. And essentially, I sold, my book of business and some other retail elements to Marshall Goldman, and just went to work for them. And I was the COO for about 3 years, and then decided to move to Kansas City, which kind of made sense because at the time we were growing into our California division. We had a couple stores out there. Being in Kansas City puts me right in the middle.
Yeah.
And so I can go to our Cleveland store. We now have a Baltimore store. We have other stores in development on the East Coast, which is kind of exciting. And then we have the two stores, Beverly Hills and Newport Beach in California. So I'm right here in the middle. I travel to the stores a bit, travel to seek out good cars, and bring them into stock all the time. I was in LA, yeah, Tuesday for a big deal, but it's all cars all the time. And yeah, it's good. Good times at Marshall Goldman. We're growing, so pretty exciting.
And then I saw when you were pre Marshall Goldman, you had a kind of a sell your car type website. Was that was before Marshall Goldman, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's kind of funny. So it's called I Buy Luxury Cars, right? And I'm not gonna be bashful about this. I'm gonna say it straight out. Everybody copied me. Okay. Um, I Buy Luxury Cars was first. We started in 2015. I came up with the concept, and it's a simple concept, right? It's a website that you can market, whether that's on social media or Google, PPC, SEO, etc. You drive traffic to the website, people submit their car, and then we provide an offer. And so everybody's ripped it off, right? We Buy Exotics, Chaz Glub, great, good friend of mine. He was involved with me early on. He wanted to separate and do his own thing. I bought him out. He started We Buy Exotics. He copied me exactly. Donnie Gath and the whole I Lose, so they copied me. I can go down the whole list, but I started it first. I don't care what anybody says, I can prove it. But here's the deal. It's a simple concept that anybody could come up with. The difference is we have a really, really tight process, basically 4 or 5 steps to purchase a car. We have some pretty creative things to keep us safe, right? Everybody wants to try and screw over a car dealer and scam us on a wire and all these things. Steal transport theft right now is crazy. But we're not perfect, but we've done pretty well with it, and it's a good concept to drive traffic to us, to drive people that are selling their car to us, because at Marshall Goldman, so we can actually pay more than you might get on trade-in at a local dealership. The other big thing that we kind of discovered, or I kind of at least thought, and then had a hypothesis that would happen, is there's so many people that are just selling their car, right? They're not trading in. They don't want a second car. They're just selling their car for whatever reason, lifestyle changes, things like that. And there wasn't really a lot of good options for those customers that just simply want to liquidate and not replace. It was always
Yeah.
kind of like trade in, trade up, but not just stop, right? Some people
Yep.
just
Yep.
want to stop. They want to get rid of what they have and not replace. So I think we're a super, super good alternative option for that. And I think that's what Marshall Goldman was attracted to the most, was that sourcing platform, if you will. So they bought that from me. And then here we are, 6, 7 years later. That's the division of the business that I run for them. I Buy Luxury Cars, powered by Marshall Goldman. Uh, Simple concept. If you got a car, you're done with it. We'll buy it from you. We'll pick it up. We'll pay the transport. We'll FedEx the money back and forth, and paperwork. It's easy. Now we can do most of the stuff on, electronic signature. So that's I Buy Luxury Cars.
Yeah, for the longest time, all the dealers, and it's a natural instinct, is you're trying to push the inventory you have. So all the marketing was, hey, we come to Tactical Fleet, we got all these cars for sale. And then I would sit there, and 9 of the 10 phone calls were like, hey man, because they see we have, the capital to buy cars. So they just want to call and, hey, do you want to buy this Lamborghini? Hey, you want to buy this Wraith? Hey, and it was 9 calls till I got to the one that actually had a piece, was like interested in something I had for sale. So it's a really clever backwards track into new business. And you're right, dude. They don't want to, they don't want to trade it in. They just need to get rid of it as soon as possible, and they want the biggest number they can get. And I know Marshall Goldman hits the car like that, and their number is super strong. So if you ever do need a bid, hit up Marshall Goldman, because they will buy your car. And you guys have a little different model there too. You're not tempted to, move stuff in 90 days. If you got good inventory, Marshall Goldman will hang on to it for a year until it sells, I've noticed. And what was the draw to Baltimore? Just curious.
Yeah, I mean, everything you said there is true, and for many different reasons. But to go to the Baltimore point, so I need to be a little sensitive on what I say and don't say, because we just went through another buy sell. But the short version, the public version, is that Harlan Goldman bought back into the business as 50% owner. So the Goldman family now has 50% of the business. And then the Magden family, Harley and Aaron Magden, just awesome guys as well, super smart, very accomplished business guys in other industries. They bought the other 50%. And so that deal closed in the spring. And they had a dealership in Baltimore. They're from there. And it was called Magden Motors. And, it's super simple. It's exactly what you think. We just rebranded it Marshall Goldman,
Cool.
made it a fourth store, and we're going to grow from there.
With you've been around just as long as I have, and the sell us your car thing was your idea, and now everyone does it. What do you think's coming next for the car business? What do you see changing in this space?
Well, I think it's fun to watch these auctions, these different platforms. I mean, Bring a Trailer's had tremendous success. I have just an enormous amount of respect for those guys because, in my opinion, they did it first. They're kind of like the iBuy of luxury cars of the auction platform. Everybody copied them, but they did such a good job, right? And I still think they do such a good job. So I think the auction platform is really good. Now, it actually hurts our business, right? Because prior to the auction platform, customers were forced to sell to a dealer or to a wholesaler, kind of like me, right? Now they have immediate access to a retail market nationwide. And I think for a lot of people, that makes a lot of sense. Some cars it doesn't. The more dime a dozen, the more normal, a Range Rover, a G63, that doesn't make sense on Bring a Trailer, right? It makes sense to sell that to me or to a Mercedes dealer or another wholesaler. But like the really unique stuff does great on Bring a Trailer. Cars and Bids, I think they do a good job too, and there's a couple other platforms. But I think that's kind of the future. I worry that that space gets saturated with other people trying to pretend to be Bring a Trailer. They're not going to. They're Bring a
Yeah.
Trailer so far out ahead of everybody, in my opinion. But the other thing I think Bring a Trailer did an amazing job with that I'm seeing other companies do a good job with, like Somo, Sotheby's Motorsport, they're doing a great job with this, is the daily email. And I use this example. Chris, I probably mentioned this to you before, but it's like I call it the purple BMW M3 example. It's like they send that email every morning, and so many people, car guys and not car guys, religiously look at that email and see the new cars that pop on every day, right?
Yep.
And what I love about Bring a Trailer and what they did that nobody else has really done is it's like the guy having coffee sees a purple BMW M3 and E30, whatever. And he didn't maybe wake up thinking, I gotta have a purple BMW, or didn't go to sleep the night before, didn't think about it the week before, the month before that. But he saw that car, it captivated him, caught his attention, and then he clicks on the link and he reads through and he just starts to slowly fall in love with the car emotionally, right? And then 7 days later, there's a bidding war, he overpays for it, it is what it is, and comes home. Well, the beautiful thing about that is Bring a Trailer created the demand. They put the car in front of somebody that didn't even know they wanted it. And because they put it right under the guy's nose, it created demand. He bought it, people bid on it, whatever. The problem with that for a company like Marshall Goldman, like us, is that guy probably would not have gone to AutoTrader, Cars.com, eBay, or even our website to search it out,
Yeah.
right? He didn't know he wanted it, but he saw it, fell in love with it, and bought it. And see, where we are is we're not putting cars on Bring a Trailer. We're selling them in our beautiful retail showrooms. And so you kind of got to search it out, right? Like it's got
Yeah.
to be somebody that's in market for the specific car we have for the dots to connect with our business model. I'm not saying one's right, wrong, or different. I actually think they can play well, with each other in the market. And I think one of the other things that Bring a Trailer did, which is kind of good for companies like Marshall Goldman, is it created, in my opinion, an enormous amount of false demand. Like you see what Ferrari 458 Speciales are doing, especially at Peritas. You see Challenge Stradales. You see 488 Pistas. And I'm the biggest Ferrari fan, and I get all the new Ferraris, and I drink the Kool-Aid. But you know, those cars shouldn't be that much money. They're not that special. There's no world ever where a 458 Speciale should be more than a Carrera GT. I mean, it's just absolutely stupid to me. But because of Bring a Trailer, some of these other auction platforms, people have just decided, a few, right, that they have to have a 458 Speciale Aperta, and they'll pay $1.5 million, $1.6 million, $1.7 million to own it, which is like, I've had one before. It's not that, it's great car, but it's just false demand. And
Yeah.
so it's Bring a Trailer and some of these other platforms putting the cars in the market and creating all this demand. And I think long term it's probably healthy, but there's gonna be a little bit of peaks and valleys. That's
It's
my
funny.
opinion. Very, very biased, obviously. I am.
It's funny you say that because when I was building Design Auto, it was going to be a picture of a Lamborghini and then the drop down menu. Do you want new, pre-owned? Do you want a Bentley? And you had to go down the rabbit hole like you do on all the other ones. And then like the more I thought about it, I was like, you know what I'm going to do? It's going to be like a Netflix or like a Zillow where you come there and there's just stuff in your face. And so you have to be like, because I noticed they come to Tactical Fleet and they'd be like, I have 150 grand. I don't know what I want. I can go to Tactical Fleet. I can look at a McLaren. I can look at an R8. I can look at a AMG GT. So you just have to throw it in their face. So on Design Auto, there's going to be the top 10, the cars that change every day. These are the top most popular, which is fake demand because your Netflix tells you these are the top 10. My
Yeah.
Netflix tells me these are the top 10.
Yeah.
Like, and then you're like, who at the studio is putting, this movie back in the top 10? This movie hasn't been popular in 20 years. So it's not real, but you're like, oh, these are the comedies. These are the horrors. This is something you might like. And then you throw it in their face and then they're like, oh shoot, purple BMW. And then, he just got paid 2 days before. He's like, I want to buy something. And here it
Yeah.
is. That's how that works versus like,
Yeah, it's the same thing, and then that leads into the AI thing. And how does AI change the used car business? Well, it's real simple. And you come to Marshall Goldman, if you're search around for an AMG GT, well, our website might serve up a couple AMG GTs. Whereas if somebody else is searching for a G63, they're going to see G63s. And it sounds like Design Autos kind of got that going as well. And I think that's good because it makes it more efficient for the buyer. You
yeah,
cut the search time way down. You show people things that are relevant for them that they want to see, that you don't waste their time. I think that's all positive.
yeah, it's the wasting of the time. That's why like I don't like the big platforms because I'm looking for a Continental GT. This guy's paying to put his Rolls Royces at the top, and I'm gonna have to scroll past the sponsor to get to what I want. And then there's the little guy who has not a huge marketing budget, but he's got the car, but I don't even see it because he's at the bottom. So it's kind of a weird space. But yeah, so
Yeah,
you
the
guys,
sponsor thing, like it's funny. It really just skews listings, in my opinion, just creates a bunch of wasted space on the screen, but I think like with AI, it's becoming a little more organic. So at least for me, you look at Google, the first thing I look at is I look at the AI search or the AI, it's like AI, then sponsored, then the organic. It's like I look at the AI, read that. If I don't get what I want, I skip the sponsored, I go right down to the organic and get my answer. But yeah, it's interesting stuff.
yeah, it is interesting. So you guys are doing the AI search on your website. You just rebranded the logo too. I noticed it looks good. It looks really sharp.
I'm not involved in that. I can't take any credit. That's the Magden team basically, in Harlan, and they've worked really hard on that. And yes, you're paying attention, Chris. We launched the new website a couple days ago, mobile updated in the last couple days, and yeah, it's just we got a lot of cars, too, just like tactical in the past, like 200, 250 cars, 300 sometimes. So people sometimes want to scroll through every car. They're enthusiasts. They want to look at all the things, but most of the time, I think people just want to. They have an idea what they want. They want to go right to it. So we're
Yep.
gonna, they have those options on our site. Yeah.
We kind of touched on it a little bit, but what do you think the biggest change coming to the car world that nobody's ready for is going to be?
Um, Gosh, I mean that probably changes a little bit for me day to day. I mean, there's several relevant things. We talked about the auction. There's a lot of auctions, right? Broad Arrow jumps into the game. I think there's a lot of saturation in the auction market, both physical auctions like at Pebble Beach and you know, uh, Amelia Island and Scottsdale. And then I think there's some saturation in the auction platforms, the website based stuff. Um, so I think that changes. I don't know where that's going to go. There's just too many auctions and too many cars. I mean, look at Mecum, right? Like their sell through rate is terrible, but they're one of the most profitable businesses out there because they run 50,000 auctions. They sell 70,000, some stupid number of cars, right? And they have to dig down into the weeds of cars that nobody really cares about and that I think are irrelevant to get enough cars to supply their auctions. The other thing they do is they go out and buy cars, from the 1st of January to basically May 30th to supply their own auctions across the country. Again, more false demand. But so I think it's interesting to see where these auctions go and how that all plays out. The other big thing that's really changing in the market is the electric car thing. I mean, it's fascinating to me just to see how Americans have completely rejected anything electric as far as enthusiast cars, collector cars, sports cars. Now, I think electric cars have a tremendous place as far as, you know, basic mode of transportation, A to B around town, 30 miles from your house, drive to the office and back. But when it comes to the enthusiast market and the collector cars and sports cars and performance cars, Americans do not want full electric cars. And so we saw these manufacturers, because of stupid government mandates, force these cars into people, and then the public like rejected them, like, no, we don't want that. Well, it took a couple years, and now the manufacturers got hip to that, and they're starting to throttle way back. I mean, I did a big interview with Ferrari a couple weeks ago. They stopped their electric program completely. I was in their factory in October to see the F80, and they build this gorgeous, I don't know how many hundreds of millions, or I don't know how many, it's a lot of money, right? Gorgeous new factory, all electric cars, invested so much money. And then they realized, thank goodness, the public doesn't want it, their buyers don't want it, and boom, they pull the plug. They didn't just pivot, they didn't just change, they stopped the program. And so I think, for the like, if I'm Doug DeMuro and Kenan and those guys in the podcast, I'd be like cheering, like, yeah, we did it, because we don't want that stuff, you know?
No, no.
So that's something to pay attention to. It's just technology and how things go about. And, some technology is rejected, and full electric cars, the enthusiasts reject it.
Yeah, I saw that article not too long ago. Ferrari's always like, this is going to be the last V12. This is going to be the last V8. And then all of
Yeah,
a
really.
sudden, they're like, if people are buying the V12s, we're going to make it.
Well, exactly. And now it's like, we're firmly committed to the naturally aspirated V12, and we'll build it as long as we can. It's like, cool. That's what we want, you know. But I think the problem becomes some of the government issues, where in the
Yeah.
EU, where they're forced to build so many electric cars, or forced to build so many hybrids that produce 40 miles to the gallon, to be able to build a small number of niche V12 naturally aspirated gas guzzling cars. I get it. I'm glad I'm not in their shoes. There's a matrix they have to live and play within and make sense of, and it's not easy.
So you've had a really cool career. You kind of started when you were young. You've gone all the way to the top, and you had some innovations along the way with the sell your car thing, and then this great relationship with Marshall Goldman, helping that. Those guys are taking over the whole country quickly, I've noticed, which is awesome. I'm glad someone's doing it. If you had to start from zero again, what would you do differently?
Um, you mean in the car business or in life?
In life?
Oh, I
Like,
would I would not pick the car business. It'd be the last business I would pick. Yeah, I would. I got into the car business because I like cars, and I got advice at a very, very young age that, there's money in everything. Do what you love and learn how to make money with it. Um, but there's so many other ways to make money, and so many other industries that pay more than the car business. I mean, the car business is not where I make the majority of my income, thank goodness, but it is a relevant source. Thankfully, my wife and I are entrepreneurs. We're involved in several other industries that do well. But
cool.
maybe took the car business to get it going. There's just a lot of different paths. I mean, if you want to be in the car business, we're going to speak within those parameters. Um, First thing I think anybody should do is get experience in a franchise dealership, not an independent, not a Ferrari or Lamborghini dealership. The best places to work young are Toyota dealerships, Ford dealerships, even Kia, dealerships that have tremendous sales training for green salespeople, tremendous structure in terms of, you know, sales department, finance department, parts department, F&I, service, all these things. Because if you can really understand how a car dealership functions, not an independent, not a used car dealership, but a proper large scale franchise dealership, and you understand all the departments and how they function together and how they're made efficient, most efficient, that's value, right? And you can earn a really nice salary managing those dealerships like that long term. I have a degree from the College of Automotive Management in Orange County, California, in dealership management, in F&I. Those were just like bare minimums to kind of get in the door. And that's one of the big things they preach there is get experience in a franchise store. And from there, you can go a lot of places.
Agreed. Yeah, it's all about the sales. They don't independent. They kind of throw you out there. You got to figure it out. The
Yeah, it's
old,
not a good place to learn. It's a good place to make money, right? Independent's a great place to make money, but it's not a good place to learn. And I think a lot of people go about it backwards. They can't get in the door with a franchise dealership for whatever reason, and then they go to an independent because that's all they have access to, or that's what they think is good for them. uh, but they don't learn how to sell, right? You got to learn the ABCs of selling, and you got to learn the basics and steps to the sale and all that kind of stuff. That's just the bare minimum stuff in any type of sales, whether that's medical devices, cars, houses, clothes, it doesn't matter. But get that basis, and it can happen quick in a year. I mean, a year of experience in a Toyota store, oh man, that's worth the right Toyota store, right? But
yeah.
that's enormous. And I learned a lot of that stuff in college. I worked at a Chevy dealership in high school, but I worked at that Mercedes store in college. And that's where I learned a lot of like proper dealership organization structure, all the departments and how they have to play together.
Speaking of sales and speaking of Mercedes, I see you've got some crazy cars of your own stored over there. Do you want to talk about that, or is that kind of off the radar?
Well, I mean, it's public information, right? I mean, I raced with Ferrari in the Challenge Series for better part of 7 years. I do get all the new Ferraris that come out. That's been a big part of my life, right? It's been 12 years buying new Ferraris. Got a big relationship with Ferrari Palm Beach. I think very highly of those guys. The whole New Country operation, Calvin and Eric and Francis and Dawn and JR and Service, all the people at Ferrari Palm Beach, they've been super, super good to me. They've got me the right cars, all the special cars. And that's been awesome. I mean, collecting cars, racing, going to the events. My wife and I have met our best friends doing that stuff. So yeah, it's really cool. And then I think what you're probably hinting at on the Mercedes front is the Project One or the AMG One. I was on that, development counselor board, involved in the program, I will say,
Cool.
for 8 years.
That was
Right?
a
We sent the deposit.
that was a slow process, wasn't it?
It's just a complicated car, right? But imagine sending a significant deposit in May of 2017, and then
Yeah.
in June of 2022, still not having the car, but being told, "Oh, we can't get the car into the U.S. Do you want it or not?" Oh, and by the way, we were sold out. 1,500 more orders than we can build. If you don't want it, no problem. We'll sell it to somebody in Europe, right? So we took the car. It's in Dubai. We can't bring it to the U.S. I think there will be a pathway to get it here. Within the next 2 or 3 years. The biggest issue is service in that car is crazy complicated, um, and it needs to be by a service point, and there's no points in North America yet. So there's no sense to bring it here, but I think eventually it can. And that is an amazing car. I've driven the car many, many times, many track days in the car. My wife has
Cool.
driven the car. There's nothing like it. I haven't driven the F80. I do think the F80 will be on par, but so far I think the AMG One is the foremost supercar. And I have driven the Valkyrie, and I have driven most of the Paganis and most of the Koenigsegg's, and they can't do on a track what an AMG One can. Nothing can yet. That is the foremost hypercar on a track.
If someone wanted to see these cars and you driving them, where's a good spot to go look that up? Is that YouTube or is that Instagram, or what's your handle on those?
I don't post a lot of them. No,
Right.
normally, I worry about the same things that a lot of people worry about theft. I worry about
Yeah.
vandalism. I have them in a secure building here in Kansas City, for the Ferraris, and I've got some other Mercedes in there. But I don't. I've got young kids. That's kind of my world. We're very
Cool.
active. We travel a lot, and so like I'm in an F-250 right now doing this podcast because I'm helping my wife move some things around for her business. I've got a Ford Bronco Raptor. I've got a couple Mercedes station wagons. I use those. I drive those. I have a 12 cylinder in my garage at the house, and I'm building a new building to keep my collection. And I've got a guy that's going to be working and selling there with my Exotic Motors dealer's license, and so that'll be open to the public. It's in Martin
Cool.
City, in a little area of Kansas City. So yeah, eventually within the next 6 months, I'll have them all in one building for the most part, and you know, people can see them. Like to have that as an invite only
Sure.
situation, but
Yeah.
state of Missouri makes me sort of be open on maintaining a dealer's license. But
Yeah.
yeah, I have car. People enjoy cars in different ways, and I truly enjoy the process of ordering, specing, customization, Ferrari tailor-made program, all that stuff. Again, hate me for it. I don't care. I drink the Kool-Aid. Ferrari's been good to me. I think they're the most magical brand in existence, and happy to have fun with it.
Yeah, their Kool-Aid is good. That's the one brand that, like, I don't care what you people say about them. It's the best car, man, and you don't have to explain it. And it doesn't break, and it doesn't lose value, and they're pretty cars, and like, there's no you can't beat a Ferrari. Um, if someone
I
wanted to
agree,
get,
and it's funny because like the 849 Testarossa was launched last week, and I just fell in love with the shape. Right, I have an SP3. I'm a big fan of the SP3, but when you see the 849 in pictures, I haven't seen it in person, but the shape, the overall road presence, I think is very SP3-ish, and I love that. And then so many people want to hate on the car. Well, let me tell you something. In my experience, the people that are hating on the car, they're not buying the car. They can't get
yeah,
their hands on the car. They're not, they're not qualified to get the car. Whatever. Hate me for that too. I don't really care. Point is, I'm getting two of them. I freaking love it. And I think it's going to be a big success. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think it's going to be a big success. And I think it's going to be one of the cars that actually helps the SF90 market because I think it's such a departure. I think the two will play very well in the market
yeah,
together. I
yeah.
think the SF90 is much more refined, sophisticated, curvaceous, and elegant. And I think the 849 Testarossa is very raw, very aggressive, very extreme, and so different from the SF90 that I actually think they play well nicely together in the market. One or the other or both. And I have multiple SF90s I'm keeping, and we'll have the 849. Very excited about that car. I think it's gonna be killer.
That's awesome, man. That's a crazy collection. If someone wanted to follow you, what's the best way to do it? Instagram?
Yeah, Danny K Baker at Danny K Baker on Instagram. I don't post a lot, but
All right.
I don't know. Maybe I should. It's try and keep a few things private. But I have a couple things in there from the past, and I don't know. Maybe I'll put things on in the future. We'll see.
If someone wanted to get a buy bid from Marshall, what's the best way to do that? Just online
That's
or?
that's super easy. I mean, obviously our website at Marshall Goldman is simply that, marshallgoldman.com. And then the division I run is called I Buy Luxury Cars, and our website for that is super short and easy. It's ibuylc.com. It's literally the letter I, the word B, buy, B-U-Y, LC.com, 5 letters, six. And it's so super short and easy, ibuylc.com. You can go there, quick information on your car, year, make, model, VIN, bonus points always for pictures. And I try and provide a cash offer with quick, like within 5 minutes. I mean, 20 minutes would be a long time. And then for our website, the sell your car option on the website or value your trade or whatever, that goes to me, at least most of the time, unless it's very clear that you're trading and you want to buy something we have, then it will go to one of our sales guys, and then that'll go to a manager, and they'll work to get the trade bid, and I might be involved in that. But the big thing with Marshall Goldman is we've been around the longest. We're bigger than everybody else. We've been around longer than everybody else since 1978. We're well capitalized, and if you're selling a car, I think we provide a really, really nice option, especially if it's something unique. Any limited series Porsche, Ferrari, Lamborghini. We're also buying stuff the other guys aren't buying. We're buying Aston Martins. We typically have one of the largest Aston Martin supplies of pre-owned cars in the world. Same thing with Rolls Royce. Same thing with Bentley. And not a lot of dealers buy those cars at all, right? But we will. In addition to all the hot stuff that Marshall Goldman's known for the last better part of 50 years. We're very diverse. We like to say we have the bases covered from A to Z. Um, and some dealers specialize in more only modern exotics or only 80s funky cars, right? We have a little bit of all of them, and a little bit of the daily driver G wagons and Range Rovers and all that kind of stuff, Urises. But that's us. That's how we do it, and it's worked for a long time.
Danny, I appreciate your time, man. That was fun. Yeah, if you ever need a bid on anything, Marshall Goldman is super responsive and super competitive. I've found that, and they'll take a swing at just about anything. But that's our time on Design Auto Live. Danny Baker, the king of the Midwest, Marshall Goldman, car collection extraordinaire. Thanks for joining us. We'll get this clipped up and posted here soon. But I appreciate you coming, man.
Thanks, Chris. Appreciate your time.
No problem,
Keep
man.
in
Have a good
touch.
weekend. See ya.
Yeah, you too. Keep in touch. Thanks.